Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to bring to you my summer favorite decks and also just decks that I want to work with this summer, and I thought that it was worth sharing here in case some of these decks also just really connect you in with the Sabbath of Litha and Lammas. So the two summer Sabbaths, or even just the summer solstice if you're not somebody that works with the energies of the Sabbaths. So I'm actually really excited for this video. I've been working on this for some time now, and I finally had some time. My daughter's enjoying a play date with her older cousin, so I'm just gonna take some time while they interact with each other and they have fun and film this video for you guys, as well as for myself. So the first deck that I'm really excited to share with you is a deck for Wonder Walking by Amy Wong. So this is an independently produced deck. It's also absolutely gorgeous. I backed this as a Kickstarter, so I'm pretty sure you should be able to get this deck on her website. It is an all watercolor deck. As you can see, it has very vivid, beautiful colors, lots of jewel tones, very rich pigmented color. And it's just an absolutely gorgeous deck. It really has, because of the watercolor, it connects really well with the water element. And of course, summer definitely comes with a lot of the enjoyable water play that so many of us enjoy, especially as water signs. So this is the first deck that I felt called to sharing with you on this anticipated summer solstice deck list video. Next, I got this deck quite a while back with my Soul Mirror Oracle deck. So I purchased this. This came out around the same time, so I purchased that deck with this one. I haven't even used it yet, guys. I've been waiting for the right time, and I feel like that time is now or very soon. It's called the Path of Light Oracle, and it's by Anthony Salerno. This deck was published by Blue Angel, and as you can see, it has a lot of light energy. The artwork is very beautiful. It's a lot of different nature landscapes. Gorgeous colors. I'm really excited to connecting with this deck. It has a very ethereal energy to it. Almost even angelic, I want to say. So I'm kind of interested to see what deities and energies come through this deck. I initially actually purchased this to connect with Apollo, because I do tend to connect a lot with him around the summer solstice. So we'll see if that ends up happening, and if I do feel a connection to him through this deck. So that is the Path of Light Oracle. And again, it's published by Blue Angel. You can purchase this deck anywhere. Sort of an honorable mention. I always feel called to include this deck on a lot of my deck lists. This is my Botanical Oracle. This is independently produced. You can get it on Etsy. It is an absolutely stunning deck. I've spoken so much about this on my channel. It's one of my favorite decks. I'm considering creating my own guidebook to this deck, because I do really enjoy working with this deck intuitively, and when I do connect with this deck, I tend to go very deep and do deck study. I guess a deck study with this deck. It's very, as you can see, it's very simple in its artwork. It's very witchy. This is a deck that I like to work with Hecate with, and it is just absolutely stunning. If you're new to tarot or oracle, if you're new to really getting connected with your intuitive muscle, this might not be the best deck for you to get, especially because it is quite expensive. It's an independently produced deck, so they do come at a cost. So something to be aware of is the guidebook. It's like a little pamphlet, and to be honest with you, usually the guidebook does not resonate with me. I work best with this deck intuitively. So I always recommend this deck for an intuitive reader, someone that also really enjoys studying their decks, getting to know their decks, and isn't shy about really creating that connection with their decks as well. So this might not be for the beginner unless you're incredibly drawn to the artwork, and I would say if you feel really intuitively drawn to the deck, then I would say go ahead and consider it. So that is the Botanical Oracle. It's created by a company on Etsy called For Strange Women. So they create perfumes. So a lot of that artwork that I showed you throughout that deck was actually created for their perfumes. And then they created an oracle deck later on. So something just for you to consider and be aware of. I want to be 100% transparent. Next up, this is such a cute deck. Magical Dogs Tarot, I believe is what it's called. So this is for the dog lover. I actually purchased this deck for Hecate as well. And it just honestly, because she is quite fond of her dogs. She absolutely adores dogs. The deck it has a lot of solar energy, light energy. It has energetically, it has a lot of joy and happiness. There are some sad cards, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I think for the most part it's a pretty positive deck. It's easy to read. I can see if you have clients, the clients being blown away by this deck. It's quite beautiful, and it really captures the heart of a dog lover. Pretty sure it was created by a couple who adore dogs, and you can tell and feel it as you work with this deck. So a very sweet deck. Next up, I always forget the name of this deck, but it is incredibly beautiful. It's one of the Nouveau decks that you can purchase on Amazon. I forgot to mention the dog deck that I just showed you. It's published by Llewellyn, so you can get that on Amazon or just about anywhere that you can get your mass market decks. This one, I believe, is a US Games. So also easily accessible. I purchased my copy off Amazon, but you can probably get this just about anywhere, probably most metaphysical stores as well. So absolutely love the artwork. It's gorgeous. I think it's called Golden Art Nouveau, and it's published by Lo Scarabeo. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. I'll show you one more at the double card here. As you can see, it's a very beautiful deck. It's very similar to your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. It's kind of like a copy or a clone. So it again has a lot of solar energy, light energy. Perfect for this time of the year when there is a lot of sunshine, there's a lot of light. I like to work with deities a lot of Olympian gods. Athena, you could probably work with Athena with this deck. I work with Apollo with this deck. That's just how I work with it. Next on this list, I have the Orien's Animal Tarot. So this is one of my favorite animal decks that I currently have in my possession. This was at one point an independently produced deck, and then it went mass market. So you can easily purchase this anywhere you get your mass market decks. I just got this off Amazon. It's silver edged, and I love the vivid colors on the dark background. It's an absolutely beautiful deck. I love the animal energy. This is for a practitioner that is either seasoned with animals and working with animal energy, an animal lover, and it's also, I would recommend this deck for people that are trying to build that intuitive reservoir when it comes to working with animal energy. So if you're looking to build your own intuitive correspondences with animals, I would recommend this deck. The guidebook is pretty good. I find it to be pretty spot on, and this deck is very good at connecting in with your emotions on I'd say every day. Every time I would connect with this deck, it usually was spot on when it came to what I was experiencing emotionally on that day. From a psychological perspective, but it is an absolutely adorable deck. Like I said, I would recommend this for an animal lover, and I love this deck. I don't use it enough. I have so many wonderful decks in my collection at this point, so I do want to try and pick this up more in the summer for the summer solstice, and going further than that as well. I'm pretty sure I put this on my spring deck list as well. I do think that it could be used all throughout the year. I could see myself using this from springtime all the way up to, I would even say, the autumn. I'm pretty sure I did last year as well, so don't be surprised if you see it on some more of my deck list videos. Next up, I have another independent deck. This is an independently produced deck. It's called the Flow Tarot. You can get this on Etsy. It is an investment deck, but it is absolutely beautiful. I would say it's like quite a slippery deck. So it's easy to shuffle. It reads very quickly, very easily. It's, as you can see, an all water deck. So I do think that it works really well for the summer solstice, when a lot of us are outdoors more, we're playing with water, going to the pool, and really connecting with the water element as well. So in more than just in an emotional way, we're also connecting with water in a physical way. So this is also an excellent deck for getting to know the water element on a more intimate level as well. So again, that's the Flow Tarot, and you can get this on Etsy. And I bought this as a companion deck for the Flow Tarot. It's the Sea Soul Journeys Oracle cards. So I believe the creator, the publisher of this deck, created a bunch of other ones for connecting with the different elements. This is the sea one or water one. There's now, I think, an air one, and there's an earth one as well that I'm kind of tempted to get, but I have so many earth decks. This deck, I thought, as you can see, it's An excellent companion deck for the Flow Tarot. The artwork is really similar. The backings are really interesting. There's a few different types of backings, but the artwork goes really well with the Flow Tarot. This I just got on Amazon. I think it was like $25 Canadian. So if you're American, it's probably even cheaper for you. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful deck, and it clarifies the Flow Tarot very well. So that is the Sea Soul Journey Oracle cards. I just got this on Amazon. I think it's a pretty small publisher, so you might only be able to get this on Amazon. I'm not sure if you'll be able to find this at a metaphysical store, to be honest with you. Next up, I have an older deck in my collection, but still a beautiful deck. This is the Crystal Visions Tarot. It has a very soft, gentle energy, very maternal, very nurturing, very compassionate energy. Very soft colors. I think this is a low scare, oh, US Games, guys, sorry, not low scare bow. It's a US Games tarot deck, so you can purchase this on Amazon. Pretty sure I just got my copy off Amazon, or I might have got it in a box, a subscription box. Next I have Wisdom of the Wild Things Oracle. This is another US Games. It's beautiful. It comes with a little garbanzo bag. Cardstock is like a laminated, it's not my favorite. It's very slippery though, and it does give this shiny, it has like a shiny look to it. It's really pretty. Kind of whimsical, connects very well to the inner child if you're interested in finding a deck that's really compassionate but connects with the inner child and has an inner child-like wonder and innocence energy to it. This is something that I would recommend you try. A lot of the creatures in this deck are actually quite kind. So that could be something that you can explore with this deck as something not being as it appears. So that is the Wisdom of the Wild Things Oracle. So as you'll see, the theme of a lot of these decks, they either connect with the water element or the earth element. And I would say this is an earth element. And this I would recommend for shadow work. Any type of shadow workings that you want to complete during the summer solstice that kind of has that summer earthy feel, but also can connect with the inner child, I would recommend this deck. Kind of going on, or continuing, I should say, with that shadow work, summer solstice kind of energy, I have the Witch's Tarot by Burning Paper Hearts, and then the Companion Oracle, 3 Black Moons. There is nudity in both these decks, but it connects with that sexy, gritty, slow burn energy of the summer solstice. Really helps you connect to your intuition and your subconscious mind as well. This deck, the images provoke very intense emotions, and it can bring a lot of feelings, thoughts, even memories to the surface. And it's honestly what makes this deck very powerful at shadow work. And it's just incredibly sexy. There's nudity in this card, but it is incredibly sexy. It's a very dark feminine, energetic, dark feminine energy deck, I guess I could say. There are only female figures presented throughout the deck, and there are even cards, like there's a Lilith, Selene is right here, and there's a Hecate card. So it does connect with the energy of the dark feminine. This is independently produced. I forgot to mention that. You can get these decks on Burning Paper Hearts Etsy as well as their website. I'm pretty sure both these decks you should be able to still purchase. So this is the Companion Oracle deck. I'll just show you a couple of images. There's nudity in this deck as well. As you can see, it's very similar in its energy and tone. Just one is a white background and one is a black background. I like to pull a card from this deck to clarify. You can also work ritual with this deck. I haven't tried spell crafting with this deck, but I'm sure you could. It feels like that is something that you could do with this deck. But as you can see, it is a very sexy, beautiful deck. The Mystical Manga Tarot. This is a Llewellyn deck, so easily accessible. I'm pretty sure I just got this copy off Amazon. Very vivid, beautiful, bright colors. It has that manga art style. And this deck would probably work really well with the Loputyn Oracle. I associate this more with the the Sabbats of Beltane and Ostara and the spring equinox because of the maiden energy present, and as we all know the maiden archetype is associated with spring. So but I do think that it would pair really well with the Mystical Manga Tarot, and it does feel like something I should mention in this video. So there might be some of you that do feel called to working with this deck during the summer solstice, so I will mention it here. There is nudity in the Loputyn Oracle, so I just wanted to warn you, but I do think that these decks do pair really well. Aesthetically, they look very similar. They both have that anime manga art style. Next, I have the Seasons of the Witch Litha or Litha Oracle. This is a beautiful deck. I love the edging. It's purple. It just connects with girlies like me who just love their purple. And it's a beautiful deck. It has a very gentle energy, dreamer, very alive, passionate, creative. It really connects with those energies. It has a lot of solar energy. So I would recommend this deck if you are looking for something that really connects with the Sabbat of Litha, the summer solstice. This has a lot of those energies of Litha present as it was created for that. Next up, I have the Spirit Animal Oracle. I always get this one confused with the Kim Kranz's animal deck. I think it's Animal Oracle, that one. This was produced by Colette Baron Reed. So this is a Hay House deck, easily accessible. Beautiful, vivid imagery. It's pretty sure it's digital collage artwork. And I love, of course, around this time of the year, I love anything that can connect me with animal energy. I work with a lot of animal energy on my spiritual path. And I work with a lot of symbolism. This deck is absolutely beautiful. I would recommend it for the animal lover. I don't really like the guidebook. I just use this deck intuitively. You can always work with your own intuition when it comes to what different animals represent and what they're trying to communicate with you. Or you can even purchase, there's so many books now and online resources that help you understand what certain animals represent and what they could be trying to communicate with you. So next I have another easily accessible deck. This is the Goddess of Love Tarot by Gabrielle Hirschstick. This deck has nudity in it. It is a very beautiful deck. And it's a very, I want to say it's a very loving, compassionate deck. It connects with, it has like a lot of primal energy. It connects with your desires. It likes to talk about those things. And it really connects to the fire element as well. So that's the Goddess of Love Tarot. And again, I'm pretty sure I just got this on Amazon. They're so easy to get. The Queen Mab Oracle is one of my favorite decks. I will be working with this all year round. There's nudity in this deck. I just wanted to let you know that before I start showing you the images. But this is a very beautiful deck. It likes to talk about sovereignty, taking self-accountability. It wants to talk about where you lack empowerment. It's a beautiful deck. I like to connect to Lilith with this deck. And Lilith is one of my primary guides at the moment. So, like I said, I will be most likely working with this all year round. And there is an interesting balance of both light and dark cards pictured throughout the deck. There's very rich jewel-toned colors. Especially in the lighter cards. So I think that this is worth mentioning for those of you who do feel called to doing more shadow work around this time of the year during the summer solstice. I know it's a bit easier because it's so nice outside. A lot of people feel more drawn to doing shadow work around this time of the year. Okay. As always, my beloved Witch Sister Tarot, this is a Llewellyn deck, so easily accessible, but who doesn't have this deck by now? It's, in my opinion, this is my soul deck. She reads like a dream. She reads like a song. Beautiful deck. This deck is excellent at understanding what life cycles and seasons you're currently experiencing. Great for transformation. It also has this really raw, primal energy to it. I love the animal symbolism throughout the deck as well. It just gives additional meaning to the cards. Excellent for transformation. I can't remember if I mentioned that, but it is just a beautiful deck. And it has like the raw primal energy helps it connect to the fire element to me. And then the imagery, how earthy it looks. It's very of the earth. It connects the deck to the earth element as well. So it sort of has this dual energy to it in that sense, like connecting to both the earth and fire elements to me. So next I have the Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle. So I, similarly to the Queen Mab Oracle, I work with this deck all throughout the year. I think it's worth mentioning here for those of you who enjoy working with symbolism and archetypes, as I do. This deck is easily accessible. You can get it on Amazon. This is a very popular deck. This is a Kim Kranz deck, so I wouldn't be surprised if you can get this at some metaphysical stores as well. So it's excellent as a clarifier. It's excellent on its own. It's a very powerful deck, and like my practice wouldn't be the same without it. I love the colors and lack thereof as well. It gives this deck a really interesting balancing energy. It's very dual, just like me and so many of us. As you can see, the cards that do have color, it's very rich. I've been pulling this card a lot lately, the bridge. So that's, I'm pretty sure, the last deck that I feel called to working with. Hi there, sorry I'm back. It's just a little bit later in the day than the first part of this video. I unfortunately ran out of time, so I had to stop filming, but I have a little bit of time now, so I'm gonna finish up the video. So I actually just have 3 decks left on this deck list. So I have the Radiant Wilds Tarot and the Moonology Messages Oracle. I bought the Moonology Messages Oracle as a companion deck to the Radiant Wilds Tarot. So Radiant Wilds Tarot is published by Rockpool Publishing, so great quality, guidebook's really good, easily accessible. Moonology Messages is published by Hay House, also easily accessible and mass market, easy to get. These decks go really well together. They look like very similar art style, and they both have solar energy. This deck is absolutely beautiful. It reads like a song. It's very easy to read. I find this deck really wants to talk about shadow work. Things that you're possibly struggling with. Beautiful, bright, vivid colors, a lot of solar energy. So that is the Radiant Wilds Tarot. Moonology Messages has a lot of solar energy as well. I know it's supposed to be part of the Moonology series. I just find that this deck has a lot of solar energy, and it's an excellent clarifier to the Radiant Wilds Tarot. They look really well, they look very good together, and it's a great complementary deck to whatever tarot spreads you're doing with the Radiant Wilds Tarot. Last deck on this deck list is the Animal Spirit Oracle by Kim Kranz. This deck is excellent for working with animal energy. Beautiful illustrations. Again, we have very selective pops of color. The cards that do have pops of color, it's beautiful, bright watercolor too. So I feel very drawn to watercolor decks around the summer solstice, around this time of the year. And this deck is great for that. So beautiful deck, excellent for working with animal energy, clarifying what animals you're walking with on your path, and also for just helping you build up your own intuitive correspondences when it comes to animal energy and working with animal energies. Lastly, I like to incorporate some books that I think will be perfect for people that are looking to have something to read during the summer solstice. And I always like to tell you what I'm planning on reading this summer solstice. I've been reading The GLAM Witch. So this is Michael Herx, I think his last name is pronounced, and this is a magical manifesto of empowerment with the great Lilithian arcane mysteries. So this book was written in devotion to Lilith, and it is Michael's own, I guess it's like a grimoire of his magical practice with the great goddess Lilith. As most of you are aware, I am working with Lilith on my path currently, and I was very drawn to this book. I work with Lilith in a very similar way, doing a lot of glamour magic. And I just felt such an intuitive pull to purchase this book and to read it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't been reading much. Like, there just hasn't been very much time lately, but that is about to change. So I am planning on reading more of this book as more time becomes available to me. I am on page 30. And so far it's been a great read. Of course, I'll tell you more about this deck as I continue to read it and learn more about the book and his practice with Lilith. But it's great. He's got journal entries, journal prompts as well. He has some correspondences for working with Lilith. It's an excellent book so far, and it was very interesting when I had time to read it. I couldn't put it down, so it is something that I'm really excited to picking back up. As I've already mentioned, my hours are going to be getting reduced for a short period of time for the summer, and I'm really looking forward to having more time. So what else? So I have Entering Hecate's Garden is one of my favorite books to read around this time of the year. I also mentioned it in my spring deck list. I'm going to mention it again. I love a lot of the recipes in this book. The Triple Goddess salad is one of my favorite salads. I mentioned that in the spring video as well. Especially as summer progresses and more herbs and flowers become available, I find myself drawn to working with this book and recreating some of the different recipes that she has in this book. Even some of the spells too. I think it's a great book if you work with Hecate or you're interested in working with Hecate. Cindy Brannon, as I've already mentioned on this channel before, she's an incredible author. There is a lot of information from a lot of different authors about Hecate. I'm the most intuitively drawn to Cindy Brannon. I was from the start. So couldn't recommend that book enough. If you're intuitively drawn to her book and what she has to say, her messages, I would recommend this book. Since we were talking so much about animal energy, I've mentioned so many different animal decks as well for the summer solstice. I have a book for beginners. I feel drawn to mentioning some of my resources on animal energy and working with animal energies and their correspondences. I have 2 books here. The Of Blood and Bones. This is a Shadow and Dark Moon witchcraft practice book. But if you have this book, there's actually animal correspondences in the book that you can work with. I actually started with this and then I purchased the Animal Magic book later on down the road. I also use online resources and of course my own intuition, but I think that these are great places to start if you're new and you're interested in possibly pursuing working with animal energy on your path. And I always like to mention The Witch's Apothicary. This was created by one of the creators of the Seasons of the Witch series. So I absolutely love this book. It's different recipes and tips for working with the energies of each Sabbath. There's color magic correspondences. I don't know where my bookmark went, but I bookmarked this page. Different tips on how to dress up your altar for each Sabbath as well. It's an excellent book for beginners, for if you're new to working with Sabbaths. It's an excellent resource. And I also have, I got this as a birthday gift, the Wheel of the Year book by Jessica Rue. So this is the creator, oh my gosh. This was illustrated by the creator of the Woodland Wardens Oracle deck. So it's a very similar deck to the Witch's Apothecary. It's a book divided by Sabbaths, and it gives you just different recipes and tips on working with each Sabbath. I think that's just about it for this video. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope that you have an excellent summer solstice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.